Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Brent Venables, Jim Nagy, the Oklahoma Sooners quietly building some real momentum on the recruiting trail. Monday afternoon, a commitment that I know fires up Brent Venables, but should fire up the Oklahoma Sooner fans as well. Three-star linebacker Bowe Jandreau committing to Oklahoma. We talked about his twin brother about a month ago committing to Oklahoma. This kid freaking rocks. And you look at him and say, I am immediately throwing the recruiting rankings out the window when I'm talking about a kid like Bo, because you turn on the tape from that junior year and say, I am betting on this kid every single day of the week to figure it out in the SEC. You ain't going to see a linebacker that plays with more physicality than a kid like Bo. And then he's got the athletic profile that I think you're really like. Number one, he is absolutely put together. If you're an Oklahoma fan that needs to be sold on what Bo can do at Oklahoma, go take a look at this kid working out. Just go take a look at the body type that he brings to the table. But number two, flies around the football field in this modern era of college football where you need speed at the second level. I think Beau Jandreau brings that in a massive way to Oklahoma. Size, speed profile, the physicality that this kid plays with, the wiring that is very clear on the film. This is a Brent Venables style of linebacker. And to me, although he's a lowly ranked 3-star, I find it hard for him. I find it hard to not see him having success at Oklahoma over the next couple of years. Going to get into the tape. Want to talk a little bit about where Oklahoma is going on the recruiting trail before we get into it. As always, to the Oklahoma fans, appreciate you guys. And it sounds like it's about to get real fun for this program on the trail. A lot of commitments to break down. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. And, we're going to start this conversation off the same way we started it off with this twin brother, Nico, committing to Oklahoma. And that is, these kids are wired the right way to play in a Brent Venables style defense. But for Bo specifically, the athletic profile is really intriguing. This kid is really put together. Reports of 4.5 lasered 40. Now, look, is it necessarily 4.5? I'm not sure. It doesn't take you very long to figure out this kid can fly around the football field. He's got plenty of sideline to sideline speed to play in the SEC. What I love the most is the attacking style linebacker that he is. What made Danny Stutzman not just a good linebacker, but a great linebacker? Yeah, there are a lot of other linebackers that go for 100-plus tackles. There are not a lot of linebackers that go for 15-plus TFLs. And what made Danny Stutzman that difference maker for Oklahoma was his ability to attack the line of scrimmage and create a lot of negative plays. This kid does the exact. Bo does the exact same thing. His ability to play that attacking style, firing downhill, working off blocks. He's devastating when it comes to taking on blocks, extremely physical at the point of attack. This is a guy that can create a ton of negative plays for this Oklahoma defense, that is the Brent Venables style, right? And it took a couple of years for Brent Venables to really get his defense humming at Oklahoma. You saw it in 2024. I certainly think you're going to see it in 2025. We want to create negative plays. We want to create turnovers. We want to smother the opposing offense on the defensive side of the football. And I think this kid can bring that to Oklahoma. It's so he's arguably the most fun kid to watch in this 2026 cycle because the tenacity of which he plays with is extreme. And you're going to see just absolutely devastating taking on blocks, finding the ball carrier. His ability to find the ball carrier, very, very good. Now, if there's one knock, I'll say this. You just want him to see the game a little bit better. Sometimes he gets a little bit over his skis, and this is what I love about the fit here. Coach Drelling, Wes Goodwin coming in, Brent Venables. I mean, this is a program, the Oklahoma program, in terms of linebacker development. I don't think there's a better coaching staff in the country in terms of player development at the linebacker position than what Oklahoma is offering. And I look at a kid like Bo and say, hey, I think athletically he's going to be good enough to play in the SEC. I just think there's a little bit more development between the ears as a football player that needs to take place. You go and get that. And Norman, again, coming on the blitz, a little bit of a stun here, finding the quarterback. You're going to see and you're going to quickly learn. How about the ability to play in space? drop back in coverage, read the quarterback's eyes, get your hands on the football. I mean, again, that's stuff that you have to do, and you don't see a lot of linebackers do well at the high school ranks. Bo certainly does. This is probably highlights what you love the most. I mean, when it's run and chase situations, this kid's sideline to sideline speed, he is going to cover so much distance so quickly. You need this in this era of college football, where in the SEC, I mean, so many teams are trying to spread you out and get their speed and space. You need linebackers that can fly around the football field, go sideline to sideline. I think he can. You continue to watch it and say, again, he's just here's a little bit of like a little bit over your skis here. I mean, we're firing downhill. Not a great run fit right off the bat. Kind of lazy discipline with the eyes. We're athletic enough to make up for it and go be extremely physical at the point of attack. If he can just look, he's wired the right way. Sometimes just gets a little bit over his skis. If he can, and again, it's not like you want to hone it in because you want this on the football field. But if we can have that controlled aggression a little bit more, that's kind of what I think is going to take him to another level as a football player. Continuing to watch it again, I love what he can do in space. When it's time to punch the gas and go close the distance between himself and the ball carrier, he's doing it at a very high level. And you're going to see he's the Energizer Bunny for that defense. And it's very, very clear to tell that. Yelling pre-snap here. Again, just fighting through blocks, finding the ball carrier. I'm really excited about what this kid can be. And I want to talk a little bit about Bo Bentley because it's very rare that I have any social plans, especially on the weekends. I had some social plans this weekend, and I wasn't able to talk about the Bo Bentley commitment. And we haven't really talked a ton about Bo Bentley, period, for Oklahoma, which I regret. And I want to talk about him real quick. I think this was a massive commitment for Oklahoma. And why do I say that? Because this kid is a freaking gamer at the position. You look at Bo Bentley and say he's not a guy that is going to wow you in shorts and a t-shirt throwing on air in the summer. You know, he just went to the Elite 11, didn't necessarily win the competition. Apparently had a good performance, but didn't win it. That's never going to be his best situation. Like this kid is at his best under the lights, shoulder pads and helmet on Friday nights, just figuring it out. He's a guy that I think can elevate an offense and be a difference maker when it's not always perfect around him. And I think the best example of it is didn't really play much. I mean, he was a skill position guy as a sophomore, takes over the starting quarterback role as a junior down there in Texas, 16-0 state champ, as like essentially a first-year starter at the high school ranks. He figures it out. You turn on the film and say it's not always perfect, but this kid is an absolute gamer. And you look at the same things we love about John Mateer. You say the same things about Bo Bentley. Hey, when the pocket's breaking down, do you have a quarterback that can extend the play, get outside the pocket, throw off platform, and make it work even though it's not perfect around you? Bo Bentley's that quarterback. And at this point, in terms of having covered all these quarterbacks coming out of high school and kind of figuring out which guys make it work, I'll tell you what, normally the quarterbacks that make it work at the collegiate level are the guys that are gamers. It's one thing. And Jackson Arnold won the Elite 11. Jackson Arnold looked awesome in summer workouts, short in a t-shirt, showing on there. And I still think Jackson Arnold might be a good football player. I'll say that too. It was a bad situation, but Jackson Arnold was not necessarily the best when stuff broke down around him. I think Bo Bentley can be that guy, very similar to how we talk about John Mateer. I think that's a massive get for Oklahoma. And you start looking at that quarterback runway. Sorry, John Mateer in 2025. I think one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC and in the country. Probably Mike Hawkins in the 2026 year, maybe 2027. And then Bo Bentley taking the reins. The quarterback runway for Brent Venables and Ben Arbuckle, very, very good, which should fire up some Oklahoma fans too. Like Beau Jandreau, really do like Bo Bentley too. Like what Oklahoma is doing on the recruiting trail, and it might not necessarily reflect in a bunch of commitments in a top 5 class in the country right now. Give Jim Nagy some time because I think there's a little bit of a different process that Jim Nagy is going to look to take at Oklahoma. We'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.